Welcome to the show with no name. I'm Bob Going with Gavin Murdoch and Jim Nicosia. Make sure you get in the picture, Gavin. Ooh, it's skipping. All right. Okay, you're in. And here comes Jim. Jim, you're always wandering in late here. What are you?
I had to get the technical.
Oh, technical assistance. They cheated you out of your headphones again, huh?
Yep.
Oh, you got the Ace ones, though. Wow. Can you hear?
I can hear the music. And I can hear you.
Is your microphone on?
Says on.
Says on? Say something.
Something?
I'm not getting you.
Why?
Let's
Getting
see.
me? The needle
Oh, let's turn the switch on. Okay, now try it.
Something.
No, still not getting you.
Not yet. How about mine? Mine is
I'm not getting you either.
a little bit.
Yeah. Wow.
Sensitive.
Let's see what's going on here. Guest mic.
You
Uh-huh. P1, P2. Program 1. All right. There you go. Now we're on.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Here we go.
Gavin's got the master switch. Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, yours turns his on for some reason. I don't know. Anyway, okay.
Today's April 1st.
It is. I'd like to start out by praising the Thane administration. Never mind. Oh, by the
I
way.
can see right through that one, Bob.
Okay. All right. By the way, if you like your insurance plan, you can keep your insurance plan.
Well,
And if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor.
Oh, thank you.
April Fool.
Oh, man. Got me again.
No, really, if you... For those in the immediate area, if you like your insurance plan and you like your doctor and you want to keep your insurance plan and you want to keep your doctor, get rid of your congressman. Okay. All righty. Gavin, we haven't really delved into what's going on with the school district. I see the governor's planning on giving you more money, isn't he?
Yeah, it looked like $2.1 million more.
Whew. That's above and beyond what you were expecting?
Yeah.
Does that make the kids smarter because they got more money?
Don't
No.
matter. Don't matter.
No, that's not going to make the kids smarter. It might allow us to keep some of the programs we have that assist students to be successful. We'll have to see what's going to happen with that.
You were telling us that the budget looked not too bad before that, right?
No, the budget looked very good before that. I believe all the municipalities would see a decrease in their taxes for the coming year. Even in the town of Florida, though it'll be less in the town of Florida, of course, in every place else.
Well, their property values keep going up. All this, probably all this casino talk is driving up the property values.
I don't know. Is that the reason? Even before that, they were going up.
Yeah. Well. Oh no. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speculation. Or maybe it's just that everybody else is going down and they're staying the same. That's
which
more
could be.
likely, actually.
Yeah.
Do you follow that Zillow.com where they try to evaluate every piece of property in the world, I guess, and tell you what the value of your property is based on the local sales and assessments and everything else?
No, I'm usually busy doing something.
Well, they send me email once a month. Let me know.
So how's your house doing?
I wouldn't put a lot of stock in Zillow.com because, for a while it wasn't too far off. I mean, they tend to inflate prices locally, I think, but because there's just not enough sales to so they're looking like at national averages and state averages and things like that. I mean, it's just a computer program.
Right.
There isn't anybody thinking this thing out. And there's nobody.
Are they running the government as well?
I don't know, but could be. But they're certainly not going around assessing properties and things like that or appraising properties. But for a while, it's in the ballpark, and there was a steady decrease over the last couple of years in the city of Amsterdam. The values of the properties were going down according to Zillow. My experience, anecdotally, is that's correct. All of a sudden, not last month, I don't think, the month before, all of a sudden the value of my property shot up to like $425,000.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
And that must include the intellectual value of your home.
Must be, or goodwill.
Or goodwill.
My house has plenty of goodwill.
Wow.
Now it's got a new roof, relatively, but basement's still a little damp. But
How's the pool?
pool? No. I suppose I saw the pool from the Google shot. But I don't know. I mean, my house is a big house. It's it's about 2,500 square feet of living space, and a colossal attic. So it's storage space is like Lou's Supermarket, for crying out loud.
But yours is almost filled, though, isn't it?
Well, yes, yes. This is what happens when you have 4 kids who all move away and leave everything they own behind.
Or a father that collects everything related to Amsterdam, all things Amsterdam.
That's true. I got an attic full of that stuff. Oh my God. I'm under instruction to.
To what?
To
expand?
No, to separate, and like they do on those. How do you do it? TV
pickers?
shows where they
Reality show, where
the
they hoarder.
Well, not the hoarder. No, I'm not that bad. I say, but there are.
Mary, give us a call and let us know the real story.
No, she's busy right now.
432-2500.
So anyway,
Ask for Bob.
what they do is they empty out the house and they put things in 3 piles: the stuff you're going to keep, stuff you're going to throw out, and the stuff you're going to sell. So you start over, get rid of forget what the show is called, but it's get rid of the junk or something. And then the expert comes through here and says, "No, you're not keeping this. You're not keeping that. No, I want to keep that. No, this is going. You're either selling it or you're throwing it." So that would, we're kind of going through that stage now because really, we need to take the weight off the attic floor, among other things. I'm kind of hoping the kids will buy big houses. But,
Come back and get your stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, so where did I start out with this? I don't know where I was going with it. Oh, the Zillow. Yeah, so
Yes.
I don't know. So then then the next month it goes up like another 3%. So now it's using the base. It's using this crazy base. So I think it went up another 20,000 last month or so. Because once you get up in the stratosphere,
Every penny helps.
you put my house in Westchester County, it's probably worth $4 million, but.
Location.
Yeah. We were talking about Dave Stahl last week. On his way back home, he and his young lady friend walked across that pedestrian bridge in Dutchess County.
Did they?
Yeah, and he took a picture of the highway bridge in the distance in the Hudson Valley, and it was a lovely picture. I didn't actually. He didn't have any pictures, or he didn't show any pictures of the pedestrian bridge itself, just the view from the pedestrian bridge.
Is that the same view we're going to have?
I'm going to take a picture of what our view is going to be and compare it. We'll see what happens. We'll see if we're going to get hundreds of thousands of people a year. Anyway, so that's where we are. So you're comfortable with the proposed budget so far?
I am. They're gonna. We'll be voting on it at the next board meeting.
You'll be able to knock things down now with this extra $2.5 million, right?
Well, pending how this $2.5 million actually comes.
Right.
Whether it's building aid, whether it's earmarked for certain programs.
Yeah, you don't really know
it's,
that
it's
yet.
not.
Yeah.
It's like saying you got a grant and you got free money. Well, nothing's free. It comes from someplace, and it comes from some sort of strings attached. So we're going to have to see what kind of money this is and what we can actually apply it to see what we can do. But I think in the overall scheme of things, it'll help us knock it down a little bit more than we already have.
Right. And that's been adopted, right, the budget, or no?
No, we adopted the coming meeting.
No, not yours.
Oh, the state, yes.
The state budget.
Yeah, it was approved.
Now, I didn't really get a good look at it, but I saw some articles in passing on some of the aspects of the state budget. And one of them that interested me was that there's a multi-year program of property tax relief for municipalities that are like Amsterdam, provided that they are moving toward consolidation
of services.
Or consolidation of persona, or at least making efforts in that direction. And so it'd be so much this year, so much the next year, so much the following year. I think this is an ideal time to set up a study committee about what it will take to eliminate the corporation, eliminate the city as a separate entity.
Yeah, they're trying to get rid of the redundancy of services that are out there, and it's certainly in New York State. It's a vast number of overlapping organizations and groups, municipalities that are all doing the same thing and all doing it at
now,
a
what
very
are
high
we?
price.
5 square miles or 6 square miles of city, something like that. I forget, it changed
Yeah.
when the golf course came in and Shuttleworth Park. But us sophisticates in the city, periodically mock the village of Fort Johnson, which, as small as it is, and it got reduced in size substantially when that arterial went through, that the village of Fort Johnson insists on maintaining its own identity as a village. They over 100 years ago, they had the opportunity, and they were expected to join the city. When Port Jackson and Rockton joined the city, Fort Johnson also voted on it. They voted it down. And there have been several times over the years, including fairly recently, when they easily voted down a referendum to abolish the village and just become part of the town government. We mock them for that. And yet here with our 5 or 6 square miles, we're doing exactly the same thing. What is there in our government structure? In other words, the value we have in our city charter, the powers that we have granted from the state of New York in our city charter, what are those now that wouldn't be met if we were just part of the town of Amsterdam again, as we once were? Mm-hmm. Of course, when we were part of the town of Amsterdam, I think went to the Canadian border, but yeah, I mean, okay, so we became a village in the 1830s, I guess, and then a city in 1885, but the laws have changed a lot since then. We needed the power of eminent domain back then. We needed to be able to put in our own water system, which was, I think, the real impetus for developing the city, making the city in the first place. Mm-hmm. Well, okay, so we developed Glenwild. Since then, what have we needed a city government for? Not much. As a matter of I'd be hard-pressed to come up with a single reason other than inertia that we would maintain ourselves as a city. I don't know. We could, there would be issues that would have to be dealt with, obviously.
And certain services would have to be contracted.
Yeah, services would have to be merged, and assets and liabilities would have to be merged in some way. But aside from that, really, so we have a supervisor and 3 or 4 councilmen instead of a mayor and 5 aldermen. Well, what difference does it make? Really? Culturally,
It would make a difference to the town or whoever we were going to combine with or consolidate.
yeah, but if there's a new method that came in a couple of years ago where the town and the city can get together and do this on their own. But there's also the state legislature tomorrow could say the city of Amsterdam no longer exists, and here's where you're going. So.
Can they do that?
Yeah, legally? Oh, yeah, absolutely.
The state legislature can abolish a municipality?
Absolutely. There's serious talk about them abolishing all the villages. Yeah. Now, well, you know, why do we have it? Well, because this area wants to have its own zoning. Okay, you know. Let's be serious here. Culturally, there's no difference between the city of Amsterdam and the town of Amsterdam, right? We go to the same churches, go to the same schools, we're in the same school district, you know, same assembly district, same state senate district, same county.
And how many?
We all shop in the same stores.
And you just went over 5 or 6 different layers right there. You
Yeah,
know, that's one
right,
sentence.
right,
Yeah.
right.
And that they all contain some
All right.
redundancy of services.
So what are, let's say the legislature gave us 2 or 3 years to, you know, say you're no longer going to exist in 2 or 3 years. What are the problems we're going to face? Okay, number 1 and 2 are the public safety issues, I think. What do we do with the police department and the fire department? The town of Amsterdam has at least 3 fire departments covering it: Fort Johnson, Cranesville, and Hageman. And Fort Johnson has 2 stations. The city of Amsterdam's got 1 department, but you know, whenever there's a big fire, everybody's in. Yeah, you got a problem because one of you know, the town of Amsterdam ones are volunteer departments. The city is a paid department, and that's going to cause some individual problems. Okay, so you figure out how to work that out. Maybe you have a combined system. Nobody loses their job. You have you know, professionals working full time, and lots of volunteers to come in and help. And you know, you combine 1 department as opposed to having 3 in the town of Amsterdam right now. Hageman will get the pancake breakfast. Okay.
They do a wonderful job with that.
Cranesville will get the ice cream social. I'm not sure what Fort Johnson gets. Somebody can call and tell us. But okay, so we do those things. We'll do those things. Police department. You know, I once asked one of the former police chiefs, if you were to contract with the town of Amsterdam, you know, how many more employees, how many more cars would you need? And I think he said like 1.5 cars, and you know, maybe a couple of additional employees. You just spread out your territory a little wider. Okay. Beyond that, I don't see any reasons the DPW, for example, can't just merge under the highway superintendent of the town of Amsterdam, whoever that may be. You know, obviously. Now, you know, people get this idea. Well, you're killing Amsterdam. Amsterdam will no longer exist. Well, no, Amsterdam will still be there, just like Vettersburg was there. You know, it's still Amsterdam. It's you know, it's just that you're not paying taxes to all these different other places at the same time. And it might just eliminate the silliness I read every day on Facebook about bringing back downtown Amsterdam. You know, I've said 1,000,000 times, we have a downtown. It's just not where it used to be. It's not like.
That's right.
Right. We gain nothing. How will the city suddenly gain if, or the area that we call the city would suddenly gain if, say, Walmart moved downtown instead of on the Perth Road? You'd still go to Walmart.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
I drive around and I look at the dozens and dozens and dozens of buildings in this town that were completely changed by zoning. And I mean the ones that used to be the neighborhood stores, right? The things that made a city, you know. Hey, you need a steak, you go,
Right.
Right.
Walk half a block and you get one.
all right. You need a steak, Jim?
Not today, maybe tomorrow. I might
Okay.
need one.
Not Friday, though. It's Lent.
Today's the ordination of the our new cardinal. Our new bishop?
No, I don't think so. Isn't it later this month?
I think it's
The
today.
Cardinals are in St. Louis.
No, the bishop. The
Oh.
bishop, the,
No, I don't think it's today. No.
I think it is.
Do you have tickets?
No, I don't.
I don't either. They had
You have to get them on StubHub.
two tickets per parish.
Yeah.
I say, well, good luck on that. They're having some kind of lottery like Green
Yeah,
Monster seats.
They're gonna have a drawing.
Yeah. Anyway, you see my point. You know, we go to the same churches. There's that was Monica Kaiser. Reminds me, we have to do Kaiser's Corner later. Bob's wife. Bob, if you're listening, I know where your wife is. At least I think that was her.
You're gonna start something.
I'm going to
Be-
start
be
something.
Careful.
It's all right. So I don't know. That's my thought for the day.
Huh.
And we get state aid and reduced property taxes, and of course, yeah,
And those are good things.
those are good things.
I was talking to a couple people about our casino project,
Mm.
and according to the newspaper, the commission that's going to cite this commission is going to be looking at newspapers for letters to the editor, the talk show, to see what the citizens of the area
Think about it.
think about. Because
No, they're going
they
to
said that's
pretend to
gonna-
do that. Is what they're going
Yeah,
to
well,
do.
they said that's gonna be
This
20
is what they're going. This is what they're going to pretend to
Well,
do, and in the end, it will have absolutely no influence whatsoever.
20. They said only 20% of the decision.
Did you see where Albany's site is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's by exit 23 and,
Oh, yes.
and property owned by Senator Gillibrand's family.
Oh, you know there's always connection right
Oh
where
my
it goes.
God! Yeah.
And do you see where each of these who are proposing to have a site have to put $1 million
$1
to
million
get the
for the fee.
for the fee? So you got to invest $1 million and they get nothing.
Well,
But
you might get some back.
But you might.
You might get some
No,
back.
I don't understand. How is that work? How is that working?
Go ahead, Jim.
The $1 million fee that you put in with your application is for the commission to investigate your organization and your process of what you want to do. And
Mhm.
if they don't spend the whole $1 million looking at your application, they'll refund whatever's left over.
Suppose it goes over budget. Do they need more money from you?
Wow.
And
Well, but there's
in
so much
Troy-
money involved here that.
In Troy, the project is being submitted by UW Marks.
Really?
Yeah.
Well. Well, he's got a few million floating around.
He's got a few bucks.
How Caverns down in Schoharie County is going to submit one?
Yeah.
They're not in our region, are they?
No. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I think they are.
Are
yeah. Yeah.
Or
I
are they?
believe
They're not out of the Rochester area.
No, they're How Caves is ours, because they were citing part of their logistics for it is that you're 30 minutes from Albany, you're 30 minutes from Amsterdam, you're just an hour from Saratoga, so yeah, they're
And plus, right up I-88 from everywhere.
I-88. That's right. That's right.
It's not a bad spot. A lot of land.
Oh land.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what happens and who's able to grease the skids the most to have it slide back to their location.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
Wow. 843-2500 is the number if you've got any comments. This is WCSS 1490 in Amsterdam, New York, and you're listening to the show with no name.
I was out in Norwich on the weekend. Got 5 inches of snow.
Yeah. Yeah.
I said, oh boy, I said, and that was Saturday night. I said, I don't know if I'm going to be able to go home tomorrow.
And the high school baseball season's supposed to open this week too, so
Yeah.
we'll see how that goes.
Well, Major League's
they
opened yesterday.
Yesterday. Yeah.
Well, again,
What do you mean again?
they opened a week ago down in Australia.
They did?
Yeah, the Dodgers played Arizona and Australia over a week ago.
Is that right?
Opening 2 games of the season, yeah.
Well, they didn't play in Tokyo this year.
No, they didn't go to Tokyo. No, they went to Australia. And,
Ah.
so there was games all weekend and yesterday and games today. So I think after today, all the teams will have opened.
Yeah. A couple things shocked me yesterday. One was a view of Shea Stadium during the game where everything behind home plate was empty. Of course, those are those expensive seats, but I mean,
They're all expensive seats.
yeah, but those are like really expensive.
Oh, really expensive. Okay.
But the stupidity, because Yankee Stadium did the same thing, the stupidity of having these seats that nobody can afford for regular games. You know, I mean, obviously, if it's a big game, you'll go.
Yeah.
They'll show up.
They'll show up, but that's the view everybody at home gets on the TV is behind home plate, and when you see these acres of empty seats behind home plate, bad view.
Yeah.
Bad view. I watched the Red Sox-Baltimore game.
How did the Red Sox-Baltimore game go, Bob?
It was actually a good game. Lester pitched terrific, but he ended up taking the loss, I guess, a 2-1 game. Both teams looked really good, I thought. Sox left like 10 guys on base, but they were getting 2 and 3 hits with 2 outs in like every inning.
And couldn't get the big one with
right.
2 outs.
And you couldn't get the sacrifice fly in, and the wind was crazy down there, but for both teams.
Well, do you think, the last day of March is a good time to open the
It was
season?
like 57 degrees there, which is better than when they're playing in September a lot of times.
Yeah, I saw some pictures.
No, I don't think it's a good time, but I think they really lucked out yesterday. I think the Mets did too. I can't believe the Mets were opening on the 31st in New York.
There was something on TV last night about the ticket prices were average $27,
Oh, I don't know. That sounds cheap to me.
and that's what I thought, $27, and the championship games were 50 some dollars.
Yeah.
I says that must have been Little League or
Yeah, right.
or high school.
Yeah. Yeah. And my brother's got season tickets this year for Fenway.
Oh, yeah? Behind home plate?
No, down the same seats he's been borrowing for the last few years, but they're in the right field, along the right field line. I think it's in fair territory, just barely. If you hit the
Just around the Penske pole, then.
get just around the pesky pole, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, a little further back and at an angle, but
So you can see the whole field.
yeah, they're not bad seats, and they improved them a couple of years ago. They put new seats in there, they're a little wider than they were, I think. They got cup holders now. Yeah. Yeah, I think forget what it was. His next door neighbor was one of 3 people who owned the seats, and hooked him up with one of the other guys who was selling a bunch of them, and that's how he. And then one of them got out. One of the 3 got out, so he bought in. So he's got a third of the games.
Oh, good.
Yeah, 2 tickets each game. My good friend and my favorite brother.
He's greasing those skids there.
Yeah. A good kid. Good kid. He's how old is he now? 40.
It's a relative term.
Yeah. 47 going on 48, I think. Right, 66. Yeah. Wow. Wow. My baby brother. He was an only child.
That big a difference in
Oh, yeah.
in spread, yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's
Oops.
there's 12 years between the next youngest and him. My brother Jay was a junior in high school, and I was a freshman when he was born. And my mother was the teacher. Was the English teacher. How do you think I find out my mother's pregnant? Somebody, one of the other kids told me. I can't be. I can't remember the last time she had a baby. I was 3 years old. That can't be. You're full of it. I guess somebody saw her in the doctor's office. So.
He spilled the beans.
Oh, yeah. Father Coutinho was one of her co-teachers at the time, and he says, "Mrs. G, you look like you're pregnant in that dress." Was he embarrassed? Of course, that's what he gets for saying something like that.
The worst is
Well, yeah, that's when you think about it.
He wasn't going to win with that comment.
Yeah.
0 for 2.
0 for 2. 0 for 2. I got to plug,
Nickel?
huh?
Nickel?
It's not a plug, Nickel. I got to plug the show. Not this show, the How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying.
Where's that being played,
Well,
Bob?
it's being played in the Bert DeRose Theater by the Amsterdam High School Drama Club this weekend, Friday and Saturday. I don't know about Sunday.
It's Sunday matinee, 2 o'clock.
There's a Sunday matinee. I wasn't sure about that.
Yes.
A great show, and if you've ever been to a Bill Nelson production, you've got to know that you want entertainment, you're going to get entertainment. It's always going to be a good show, and the show itself is very funny. The music is terrific by Frank Lesser, who did Guys and Dolls and a few other things. But
See, and that show has a name.
they both have names. Yeah. We have no name.
That's right.
Yeah. So anyway, that's this weekend, Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday afternoon. I don't know who's in it. Doesn't matter. It's always a good show.
It's a different cast every year because the
Pretty
kids graduate
much.
and move on.
They do. They do. My children were involved in that from time to time. I should tell Rick, if he's listening, that you can turn the lights on if you want. I just put them off to cut the glare on the camera. Okay.
Oh, I forgot you had the camera up there.
Yeah, I got the camera
If I'd have
going.
known.
You would have
Wow.
brought some hair.
Yeah. Straighten up.
I better
Straighten
sit up
up.
straight.
That's right. You know who can't be seen in this picture? Me. All right. Okay. That's better. I'm still out of the picture.
Yeah, you're way out of the
I'm
picture.
way out of the picture. Oh, somebody's calling.
Oh, they tell you
Ah.
Get
you're in the picture.
This is WCSS. You're on the air.
Did I hear somebody mention Norwich?
Norwich, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who was
My-
that, Jim?
That was
That's me.
Jim, yes.
My daughter lives over there.
Yeah, I worked. I was the morning man at the radio station for over a year.
That's a long time for you.
Oh, 40 years ago. Then I went out to Michigan in the what they call the UP, which is, I suppose,
It's a beautiful,
Raunchy by
beautiful
now,
city.
but Upper
The
Peninsula,
Upper Peninsula, the Escanaba.
where I met F. Lee Bailey.
What the heck was he doing up there?
He
Was
had
he-
just
was he
bought
defending you?
the Sikorsky Manufacturing in Menominee.
The helicopter company?
Yeah,
Really?
and I went over there to cover it and interview him.
Wow.
And then I came back.
Was that before or
to-
after the Sam Shepard trial?
Oh, God, I don't remember.
Yeah.
Then I came back to Norwich, where I worked from noon to 6 on Saturday, and did radio sales for WKOP in Binghamton.
Wow.
Which at that time, I'll tell you when that was. Their regular, well, they were a CBS affiliate in Binghamton, and their morning regular was Awful Godfrey.
I remember Arthur Godfrey.
Mr.
Boy,
Ukulele.
that goes back a ways, doesn't it?
Yeah, ukulele man.
That's right.
Anyway,
I've never forgiven him for firing Julius LaRosa.
Me either.
yeah, and was he adding, or did he replace him with the three guys there, Tommy, Lee, and Eddie? Oh, the mind is, never mind. We'll
All right, that was all right. That was
Yeah, that was
that-
okay,
that-
Not
okay.
too bad. Not too
that
bad.
made up for your curriculum vitae a little bit.
But the radio station was a
Are you
third
still there, Dave,
floor
or did
walk
you
up.
fall off your chair?
Yeah.
I think you fell off the
WCHN,
chair.
as in Chenango County.
Chenango?
And we were exactly halfway
Oh.
between Binghamton
Don't
and
hear
Utica on Route 12.
I do.
I will assume it hasn't
You hear
moved
him?
much since then. And we used to broadcast the whole week, like 6 to
I hear 'em
noon
in the
or 6
background
to
over there
4,
somewhere,
something
but I
like
don't hear them through
that, from
my
the county
headphones.
fair right there. What's that? Not East Main.
You
What the
wouldn't
devil
hear
street
through
was
here
that?
anyway, Bob.
Hey, Dave, we're having some technical difficulties here. Jim's headphones seem to have stopped working.
Yeah, I bet you were.
You hear them?
Oh, did you do this?
No.
Anyway, so your daughter lives over there, Jim?
So your daughter lives over there, Jim?
My daughter lives in Norwich. Yeah.
That's over
Jim
there.
Dave, Jim can't hear you. Okay, let me explain this again.
Doing sign language here for him.
Okay, can you hear me, Jim? Over the headphone?
No. No.
I can
Okay.
hear you.
All right then. All right.
You think there's a message in there
Wrong and
somewhere?
good at work.
Yeah, I think there is a message.
All right.
Okay.
Okie ducks.
All right.
Anyway,
Were you in How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying, or were you off in the war at that
no,
point?
no. I'll tell you the one thing we did do when
Oh,
I was in Norway.
wait, Dave! I got to tell you something. Now we first met when we were doing South Pacific, and you played
Right.
Commander Harbison.
Right,
Well,
and that's where I met my wife.
That's right. And now I learned something a couple of days ago that I have to share with you. When they first wrote the show, one of the early drafts of the show, it does not open with Emil and Nellie talking about flowers and singing songs. It opens with a song by Commander Harbison. So there you go.
Saved from the gallows.
Yeah,
Oh, my.
yeah. So so they put you in
And
this
who played my commanding officer?
in the original stage production. Oh no, in your production, Mike Lynch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
much lamented Mike Lynch.
yeah. He was always playing those old guys. I think he was 16 at the time.
Yeah, about that.
16
yeah.
or 17 at the most.
But as soon as he graduated, he went in the service and went to Vietnam, and that was it.
Yep.
But yeah, and I met my wife in that play, and who were the two instrumentalists? Do you dismember that?
Well, there were three instrumentalists. Sam Bilardi played the violin, Art Haves was on drums, and Karen Ionati was on the piano.
I'm thinking primarily Karen and Art. Yeah, I don't remember Sam that well.
Sam was a great fiddler. And during World War II, he invented a mechanism whereby the P-51s could mount a camera. And all the engineers said it couldn't be done, and he was in the ground crew, and he figured out a way to do it. And they rigged one in every squadron all over
Was he
Europe.
related to Mike Bilardi?
I haven't the slightest idea. All I know is he was a heck of a
The
fiddler.
sister of a dear friend of mine, K-12.
Anyway,
married
they've
Mike
all
Bilardi.
passed
They
away.
live out in Oneida County now,
Yeah. So
and have for years.
yeah.
Anyway, no, when Jim mentioned Norwich, boy, that brought back a flood of memories.
Beautiful
I
city.
did a rock show.
You can hear him
what do you
again?
call it?
Now I can hear him. Yeah.
Okay.
High school hop from the back of a flatbed truck in Berlin. Not Berlin, Berlin.
Berlin.
New Berlin, sorry.
Yeah.
New South Berlin.
And God, it got cold that night.
Not to be confused
we
with
did
Cairo
not
or
give up.
Greenwich.
That's right.
We did not
You know,
give up.
we mispronounce just about every city in the state. Yeah.
It's easy to do sometimes. And especially them what aren't familiar with Indian names.
Yeah.
Like Kanatsuo Hariki became Kanachahari.
That's a theory.
Yeah, easy for you to say.
Yeah, right. Anyway, and you mentioned Fort Johnson. We should be part of the city.
No. I just say we make fun of Fort Johnson because they don't want to either be part of the. They want to keep their separate identity as a village as opposed
I've
to.
never heard it mentioned as a serious subject, ever. We've lived here now, I don't know, 13 years?
Yeah, it was just before that.
It was before that.
But
Yeah,
not
right.
much.
That was
I
the
mean,
last time it was
no.
serious, right?
Certainly, as since I've been practicing law and as an adult, it came up for a referendum.
At least as far back as 13 and a half years.
Yeah.
And last fall I read John Vroman's book, Clara Putman of Tribes Hill.
Yeah.
It's a
You ever read that
marvelous book. That should be made into a screenplay.
There you go.
Clara Putman was?
No, it should be.
Should be.
Clarissa
Should be.
Putnam.
Okay, I'll go with that. Yeah.
should be.
And there's nothing in there they couldn't put on film.
When Kurt Douglas came to Amsterdam to be honored and attend the parade, I was
Honored.
history chair at the high school, and I picked up 2 copies, and I gave one to Bert, because Bert said this book should be made into a screenplay, and he presented it to Mr. Douglas, and it probably sits on one of his many shelves in his home.
Well, it's
There's
probably
nothing
right next to Where Do We Find Such Men?
Well, I'm not sure it ranks that high, but it's there. Where do we find
It's quite
such
a
men?
story.
Yes,
Indeed
it
is.
Yes, it is.
What's the story?
And,
So they cleaned it
he
up
lived
for the
at one-
novel?
for a while in the Fort Johnson.
Yep.
Yeah, but where was her house? Who's in her house now?
Right at that, I'm not sure.
Dan
It's
Weaver lives
it's
in her
over by
house.
where you make the right-hand turn and go up to the golf course.
No.
It was over in that area.
No. It's on the south side on Queen Anne Road.
Not according to the lady I know that. She lived there too. Yeah, eventually, but she was raised off Route 5.
I don't care where she was raised. Where did where did
she lived in Fort Hunter. Yeah, as well as Fort Johnson. Yep.
There you go.
And spent a lot of time with her brother and sister-in-law at Guy Park Manor.
There you go.
When it was finally built 17 years after Fort Johnson. And how many of our kids know any of this stuff about our own area?
Just the ones who listen to this show.
You may be right, and that's the sad part, isn't it?
Well, I don't know.
Anyway,
so
let's see. We covered Fort Johnson. All right, I'll let you guys get off the hook.
Well, thank you very much.
All righty, take care, guys. Stay warm or dry or whatever you need.
Okay.
Hey, what are we hitting for today?
50s?
55. 57? Okay, I'm off by 2.
And is it going to stay there a while?
Oh, at least through today. That's a while.
Just today, okay. Is it there yet?
It seems quite warm outside.
Oh, you're working on it, okay.
Yeah, working on it.
All righty.
Okay, thank you,
care,
David.
guys.
All right,
Bye, David.
I don't know. This, not since Ted Baxter gave us his background have I heard such a brilliant exposition of life in this small town radio station market. Wow, that was great. Let's see what else is going on here. The mayor's going to release her proposed budget today, I guess, or tonight.
Well, it wasn't on the city site this morning when I.
No, I think she's going to wait and just spring it at the meeting.
Surprise everybody.
Yeah. Well, no, it's no surprise. She announced that she's going to do it.
Well, she's going to surprise everybody with
the
the
amount
figures.
might be a surprise.
She got extra sales tax money coming.
She was doing this. She was bragging that
Not the mayor.
That her budget would be in on time, and the great news because her budget is balanced and it's limited to a 2% increase in tax. Well, guess what? That's what the law is. Okay, you have to present a balanced budget, and it has to be no more than 2. So she's raising the taxes to the maximum level allowed by the law, and saying we should praise her for this.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't wait to see how she does it too.
I know she's going to do it. She's going to juggle the figures so they balance.
All right.
Do we know what those figures are?
No.
Okay.
No.
I wouldn't know what those figures are ever.
Who knows?
What's the latest on our debt? The city debt.
They've stopped working on it so they can train the controller's office people on how to do what they've supposed to have been doing all along. So I'm wondering what the heck is going on here.
Well, they had a.
And why aren't people from the state controller's office who are supposed to be enforcing these laws? Why aren't they down there training the people in the? Why are we paying extra?
Well,
things frost me.
And there's a resolution tonight to pay one of those people an extra $3,000.
Something like that. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Why are we doing that?
Yeah.
I mean, if it has to be done, it has to be done. But it seems to me that's foolishness that it would have to be done.
Somehow or other they got to get the books to balance, and I don't know how she can come up with a budget without the books being balanced.
I've talked to all the controllers who were there when I was there at some length because I didn't have that much to do as corporation counsel, so I would wander around the building, learn everybody's job, see what they're doing.
You weren't running the city then?
I was not.
Okay.
No, it was a common misconception.
As opposed to the proper conception we have now, who is running the city?
Well, it wasn't me, I'll tell you that. I'm not sure it's him either. I'm not sure anybody's running it. So, in any event, there are all kinds of official books, from the controller's office that say, this is how you do this. This is the accepted method of doing this. What is so hard? Put on your reading glasses if you have to.
That's the problem. They don't know how to read.
And take a look at it. Say, this is the way I'm doing it. What does the book say? The book says...
Don't do it that way.
Don't do it. You're in deep trouble. It's not like municipal finance was just invented a couple of weeks ago. this has been going on and being improved and developed over a long period of time. I don't know. It's crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. What else is going on?
It's going to be interesting when they come up with that budget. I'd like to see it before it's presented to the council.
You would?
Yeah.
Well, I might be able to, backdoor into her computer if you.
Oh, there you go. Send it over.
I've done it before.
Send it over to me.
Just kidding. Well, only sort of
Only
kidding.
part of. Sort of.
Only sort of kidding. I did have, when they were about to put up the city's website, I did get an advanced peek at it because somebody fed me the IP address, and so I was able to get it and copy it and satirize it. But I've forgotten what that is, so it's probably not the same. Anyway.
It's
I
really
imagine
good.
they changed it right immediately thereafter.
Right.
Yeah. Well. Okay, 843-2500 is the number. We don't care if you call or not, but if you want to call, we'll talk about anything. That's not that we don't care. It's not
I care.
but it's not vital to the show because, when we're not doing this show, we're doing the other show where nobody interrupts us except the dog and occasionally my wife.
Your wife stopped by. It's not an interruption.
It's not an
No,
interruption.
that's
it's
true.
not.
She brought me tea last time, and then the time she took our pictures so she
Yeah.
could put them on the coffee mugs.
Yeah.
So we
Right.
sit in the right seats. Yeah.
So we know where to sit. That's right. We didn't do a show Friday. I didn't hear from Jim. I heard from you, but in any event, we had that overnight ice again,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, very icy that
I
day.
ran out of salt, and I really don't want to buy another bag of salt this late in the season. Although I'm probably
That's
going to
good.
need it
Hey, it's going to freeze, but God will take it away.
pretty
There
quickly.
you go.
Yep.
There you go.
Pretty
I
good.
agree with you.
He's working on it.
He's working on it.
I hope he thaws out the snow in my backyard so I can get to my.
Yeah, start
my
baking
oven.
some of that bread.
The snow's gone in my backyard. I was out raking up 3 months worth of dog doo-doo yesterday. Yeah. Top of which his chain got tangled up, so it was on a short leash. Well, kept it all in one place anyway. Anyway, this is WCSS. You're on the air.
Good morning. We needed to get a lawyer, and now we got a judge to make a decision tomorrow about a golf course. In the
That's true.
future, do we have to hire a lawyer and have a judge to decide about AstroTurf, or how about getting a lawyer and having a judge to decide about appointed positions? As far as I know, between the city clerk and the corporation counsel, they're both appointed positions. Years back, we made a change. We put Jane DiCaprio in as city clerk. Later on, we thought it was actually a blessing the way it turned out to have her as city clerk. So,
That should not have been a surprise. Jane is a most competent person.
right.
your
But,
point?
but we know what the situation was.
Oh, yeah.
Fire.
Yeah.
Okay?
Right.
So my question is this what we have to do in order? In other words, if the Common Council has no authority, for one thing, then they shouldn't get paid if they have no authority. And then if they don't have no authority, let's have regardless who the mayor is, just appoint 5 people to do the job, or else we're going to end up being like the school board. There's a lot of people who don't know who the school board members are, but yet we can vote on the budget, which is very important. So what do you think?
I know one school board member.
We only know one school board member. He's sitting here.
Okay, well,
Well, my thought, Chet, is that on most of these matters you've discussed, the charter is pretty crystal clear, and law is pretty crystal clear on this. And I will be shocked if the decision tomorrow is not that the mayor must sign the contract that has been passed and over her veto.
It would almost
Maybe the judge will rule that the deputy mayor cannot sign the contract, but
Oh, that's not even an issue now.
no,
But the mayor
but
has
what if
to.
it's
but the
appealed?
mayor either has to sign it or the guy automatically takes the
Right.
position.
Right.
Without
What
her
if it's
signature.
appealed?
What if it's appealed? The appeal results are going to be exactly the same thing because the law is pretty clear on this subject.
Well, okay, but like I said, some of these other positions, I didn't understand it. There was no trouble of making changes before with appointed positions.
Well, the city clerk serves at the pleasure of the Common Council. They appoint her or him, and he or she serves at the pleasure of the Common Council. So they could appoint somebody and then fire them the next day. The Corporation Council, the police chief, the fire chief, and the city engineer are, according to the charter, are all appointed for a term. I think the recreation director as well, coterminous with the mayor. So when the mayor goes out, the mayor gets to replace them, theoretically.
Well, okay. Well, I think that they should make it clear. I wish they would go in front of a judge and say, make all these things crystal clear, because every time when we have a change of corporation council, it seems like it's interpreted to the benefit of the mayor. And we shouldn't have, for 6 years, we've had appointed positions, and I think Sue's doing a fantastic job on this. But I'm just saying, just technically, you know, if you want to replace appointed positions, you should be able to do that, and there should be no problem. But for some reason, we have a problem in this city now.
I think I know what the reason is.
But Jerry,
Well, when you've got a mayor who completely ignores her statutory obligations and just wants to get things her way no matter what, you're going to have a problem. You cannot avoid these problems by writing it into the law, because the next time we write it into the law, it's going to say exactly the same thing with an additional sentence, and we really mean it this time.
Well, maybe if she runs for office, I don't want to hold you up too much, but say she loses, maybe she'll challenge it and say that the people were drunk and they didn't know what they were doing on voting day.
Absolutely.
Right? Okay.
Stranger
Thank
things
you.
have happened. Yes.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks, Chad.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay.
I think he was mainly talking probably about the commission members that were appointed to the golf commission.
Oh,
And
well, yeah.
The council fired them.
Yeah. Well, they didn't exactly fire them. They just pointed out that they were never appointed.
Right.
Yeah.
It was an illegal appointment.
Yeah. They're absolutely illegal appointment because they were never submitted to the Common Council. Was it Vito? Who was that?
Looks like veto, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Because they lived outside the city. Now, the Common Council, it says perfectly clearly in the charter that that those appointments could be legalized by the council if they voted on them. Okay? In other words, the fact that they live outside the city could be overlooked if the Common Council says it's okay.
Right.
But they were never submitted to the Common Council, so therefore their appointments were illegal. And the same as if you're in a position and you move out of the city, well, yeah, that's it. You know, you either follow the law or you don't. And the mayor says, well, we can't get anybody else to take these. Well, yeah, you can. There are all kinds of people who volunteered to do it, but they didn't meet her vision, which was destroy the golf course.
The Corporation Council made a statement, I think it was last week, that there was a resolution passed 2 years prior, and he says that it doesn't matter, that resolution only pertained to that year.
He's right. He's absolutely right. I forget what the issue was. It was the one about the Common Council a couple of times, I think when you were on it, passed a resolution that said when there is a vacancy in a position, in other words, an employee resigns or quits or is fired or whatever, and there's now a vacancy, say, in DPW or the police department or whatever, that automatically the money for that position is moved to the contingency fund. And so therefore, the mayor or whoever the appointing officer is cannot fill that position without a resolution of the Common Council. And you guys did that regularly, as I recall. Well, perfectly legal thing to do. They just didn't do it this year, and therefore, and probably haven't in some time. But if they wanted to tomorrow, they could pass a budget resolution saying that under these circumstances, this money will automatically transfer into contingency. They could do that. They just haven't done it. So a resolution only lasts as long as the Common Council that makes it, unless it has a separate effect like approving a long-term contract. That's different. But even so, it's the resolution is a temporary measure, a day-to-day operation measure, whereas an ordinance and a local law are permanent. So resolutions only go as far as the Common Council that makes them, and that includes resolution making the rules of the Common Council. They have to be renewed.
So you're telling me that
every 2 years.
that all these resolutions that were passed since January,
Yeah.
at the end of December,
Well, I think it's for the term of the council. In other words, a 2-year term of the council. Yeah. But what are these? I mean, what's a resolution? It's the budget for right now is this: a resolution approving the minutes, a resolution approving the audit. I mean, those things have separate legal connotations. But a resolution saying that the rules of the Common Council are that the mayor only speaks when spoken to, or something like that. That would have to.
can
Well,
they do that?
no, they can't do that. Let's say that the fire chief can only speak when spoken to,
All right.
because I know he won't get mad if I say that. They could change that tomorrow and say that the fire chief can jump up and scream whenever he feels like it. I'd like to see that. But that would go out of effect when they leave office, when the 2-year term is up. Yeah, he's correct about that. Quite correct. I used that to many advantage many times when I was corporation counsel. Yeah, but otherwise, in other words, if it's not something that goes into the code book,
It's temporary.
then it's temporary. It's a resolution. The code book contains all the permanent things, including policies, and you adopt a policy as an ordinance. This is how we maintain our books. This is who's eligible for health insurance, things like that. That's why things were a mess before we straightened it out with that health insurance ordinance, because you had all these resolutions. Well, we'll let this guy in, we won't let that guy in, and then they followed the policy without ever having adopted the policy as a permanent matter. Caused a lot of trouble. Anyway, we got 4 minutes to go. Something we missed, I don't know how we missed it. Mitch Lee passed away a couple of weeks ago. Now, Mitch Lee. Mitch Lee was a composer. And here are some of the things that he wrote.
Composed?
Yeah. He's decomposing now. Yes. Anyway, you might remember the little ditty, "Everybody doesn't like something, but nobody doesn't like Sarah Lee." He wrote the music for that. Everybody doesn't like something, but nobody doesn't like Sarah Lee. That was his job. He wrote jingles.
Really?
Okay. Except for one case. Somewhere at the height of his jingle writing, around the same time he wrote that Sarah Lee melody, somebody said, "How would you like to write the music for a musical about Don Quixote de la Mancha?" And so it came about that Mitch Lee wrote the music for the last great musical of the golden age of Broadway musicals.
He wrote The Man of La Mancha.
Yeah, yeah. And he never came close to anything like that ever again. He tried his hand at a couple of shows that closed after 2 performances and things like that. Anyway, he's one of my heroes. Even though he started looking like Don Quixote in his old age. Yeah, he had the long beard and the long face and the later pictures of him in his 80s, he looked like Don Quixote. So, anyway, that's it. Mitch Lee. Wonderful. It's kind of, theme for this show, because we're all knights errant, after all,
Yeah?
aren't we?
That's
we
right.
tilt at windmills.
Yeah.
We don't expect to win. We dream the impossible dream.
And we even
He wrote
tilt-
that, by the way. That was,
Yeah. Man of La Mancha.
his
and we
dream, the
even
impossible
tilt
dream.
when there's no windmills.
That's right. Robert Goulet sang that, right?
What's that?
Robert Goulet sang that.
Well, among other people.
But
yeah.
he was, every time he was on his show, he sang that.
Let's see. Cervantes.
And Jingles was his name.
Jingle. Yeah, he was Wild Bill Hickok's sidekick,
That's
Jingles.
What?
That was a song that he wrote the single.
Yeah,
He wrote the song about jingles.
Andy Devine.
Andy Devine.
Andy Devine. What does that have to do with Robert Goulet?
Well, you
He
just
was
said
Jingles.
You just said
that was
he
his
wrote
name on the
jingles.
show.
You just said he wrote jingles.
Oh,
Jeez, Bob.
that's her. All right.
It's hard to
that's-
keep up with us. I
that's
understand.
the end of the show. We'll
Save that for Friday.
We'll save that for Friday. Anyway, this has been the show with no name. I'm Bob Going with Jim Nikosha and Gavin Murdoch, and we'll be back next Tuesday with more of the show with no name.